Hello to all the freedom fighters. This is Lily with my guest, Mala. She's from the UK and she's been staying with me since the 27th of March. That's probably why you have noticed that I have not made a collaboration video last Sunday and also this Thursday with an encouragement video. We've just been having so much fun together. So today I'm going to be answering, and Mala's going to be helping me answer a question from MISSYQUACK. MISSYQUACK. And her question was, how do you help a friend with an eating disorder while you struggle with the same things? I guess, how do you deal with the feelings of hypocrisy, and should you feel them? Is there a way to get over them, and do you think it interferes with or helps when giving advice? So we kind of came up with some notes together, and so we're going to just kind of bounce each other, like off of each other's different points. So, for the first time, or for the first topic, so you had asked, how do you help a friend with an eating disorder while you struggle with the same things? And I guess, how do you deal with the feelings of hypocrisy? Well, I think the important thing to remember is that you're not a hypocrite if you are taking care of you first and foremost. And just be careful of sabotaging yourself by being around these kind of people. You have to be able to to go with it. We also had the point that you need to set your boundaries and make them very clear. So basically, first of all, take care of you. If you're struggling, you really can't be putting all of your energy into someone else, because you come first and foremost, as I wrote. And by doing that, you have to when you're doing that, you have to set boundaries with your friend and make them very clear. For example, when it comes to medical problems, when it comes to things that you can't do because you're not a professional, you need to say, look, I can walk with you to your counselor's office, or I can go with you to your doctor, but I can't tell you what to do because I'm not a doctor, you know what I'm saying? And I find that a lot of people, like on forums or people that are, that you'll meet that have eating disorders, they'll tend to ask you, they'll say like, oh my gosh, my heart hurts, or oh, my stomach hurts, or oh, this thing with my body is happening, what should I do? Well, there's nothing you as a friend can do, because you're not the professional. You can't, hook up an EKG and make sure their heart's still going properly,
So you don't want to reassure them that you've had those things too, and that therefore it's like okay to have them, do you? Because you can get assurance from the other person that if they've experienced that same kind of thing, then it's almost okay to have it when it's not. Yeah,
exactly. And it's important to have them seek actual medical professional help in case, say, they're having chest pains. Well, what if they are having a heart attack? And like Mala said, you're saying, oh, I have those chest pains too. It's probably just, heartburn. Well, if you say something like that, what if it's really a heart attack and you miss it and something very, very, destructive or fatal occurs, You have to be very careful with that and set boundaries and just be like, look, you're having a medical issue. You're having an issue that's emotional and mental.
Yeah.
All you can do is be there for them and say, look, and gently challenge each other. So
you also don't want to take on their responsibility, their health, to yourself either, because then it's an added pressure to you. And again, it detracts from, if you're spending your time worrying about them, then you're not going to be looking after yourself. It works in a circle, doesn't it? You're not going to be looking after yourself,
and then you can't help them.
Yeah, because you're not nourishing yourself, or whatever it may be, and then you're not going to be giving them advice in the right way anyway. So you're going to end up being either detrimental to them when you're wanting to help them, or not being as helpful as you would otherwise be, were you to be putting yourself first in the first place.
And exactly, like along those lines, you have to be you can be empathetic, saying, you know, look, I've had those thoughts before, I've done the behaviors before, I've had the symptoms before, but you have to be careful not to focus on those things, because it becomes a vicious cycle. And by that point you're starting to get almost into, and I know a lot of us with eating disorders, we tend to start to be competitive. You know, not competitive as in like, you know, it's a good thing, win first place for having anorexia or bulimia or EDNOS or anything else that you're struggling with, but it almost becomes kind of like a competitive thing, like, well, I'm sicker than you, or whatever, subconsciously, obviously, because they're your friend. And
but also I think that if you're in a situation where you're with somebody and you're very close with them, it's like being competitive in love with that person. You don't mean to, and you do want with all your heart for that person to get better. However, because there are distortions and because you're both eating disordered, a part of what you're doing is, you know, ensuring that they're getting themselves into health, and you're not.
And you're forgetting yourself, exactly.
And you don't even mean to do it, but that's why it's so important, like you said a while ago, to set the boundaries and know, so that also the person that you're giving advice to can challenge you back and say, yeah, okay, you're giving me this advice, but what about you? Are you going to apply that to yourself? And it's like self-checking all the time, isn't it? Making sure that you are applying what you're telling that person to do.
And I think on that note, which Mala and I have been doing since she's been here, it's just, you know, yes, okay, so we realize that neither of us, as we are even though we are very positive and recovery oriented, neither of us are just going to be like, okay, 6 meals a day and we're going to have dessert every single day, and we're going to be able to do all these things. But we've taken every single day, we've had like a step, you know, a challenge and something to do, and both of us follow it. You know, it's not just like, you know, oh, Mala, you need to not do this behavior, but I'm going to continue to do my behaviors. And obviously, you know, you don't, and again, you're not focusing on the behaviors and the symptoms, you're just focusing on, you know, both of you need to get into a better place mentally. And so another thing, like I said, set boundaries, make them clear, and when those boundaries are crossed, you can say flat out, look, I gave you this boundary, and I know that you're really struggling, and in love, I'm telling you that I need to take a step back. And that person might be a little upset at first, or they might be like, oh, how dare you walk away from me, or a friendship. But ultimately, if they really are your friend, and that they love you outside of the drama, I guess you could say, of the eating disorder, they will understand once they're in a better place, you know.
I think as well, to highlight that those challenges are in most cases not the same for the two people, because everybody has their own different struggles. And so like with us, we have set challenges together, but they've been tailored. They've been personalised for, you know, what is my challenge for a day may be completely different to yours. But we both decide together that in support we're going to challenge ourselves on whatever level that may be. And then again, not comparing each other's challenge, or, you know, your challenge is greater than mine, because it's just for the person themselves.
And on that same thing, it says, you know, I wrote on these notes, I said, we came up with these notes, and it says, be empathetic but objective. So basically, you know, look, I can understand what you're going through in a way when it comes to like the top level, the shallow level of symptoms and behaviors and whatnot. But look, I need to take a step back, that kind of thing. I can't, you know, I can't fix you for you, that kind of thing, feeling, you know. And also it says you need to be able to ground each other's distortions. Obviously, you know, if someone's saying, you know, oh my gosh, I'm feeling really, really, like, for example, okay, I feel like I've gained 5 pounds overnight. Well, like, Mala could tell me flat out, you know, and she doesn't have to be like, you're not fat, Lily. She would just say something like, look, here are the facts. One, you had, you know, I saw you yesterday. You had these kind of foods. You